All right.
All right, we are recording. Alan, what's up, man? Long time, brother.
Hey, long time no see, man. It's good to see you. Good to have you back in my life, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. Good to see you're still kicking.
Yeah, I'm still alive, but we'll see. Hopefully things change in the next 13 to 15 months, but if not, maybe we can leave a little bit of information or goodness behind, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man. So we met over a decade ago when out in West Virginia, and we had a little spot out there, and you were a guest, and I got to hang out and learn a little bit
Yeah, a
more
couple
about
times
you.
actually.
Yeah, man, really, really good time. So you want to introduce yourself and a little bit about
Sure.
your background.
Yeah, well, my name's Alan Schoaf. Um, my background recently in the past 15 years has been well, longer than that, probably like 20 years, has been in the music industry. And, so that's been going strong and good, with the bands I've been fortunate enough to work with and train under and such, and met some good, fine people doing that. Unfortunately, about 6 years ago, I got diagnosed with stage four. I just went right into it. I didn't, deal with stage two or whatever. I went straight into stage four, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and which is a blood cancer, and it's been hitting me pretty hard. I got good days, I got bad days. It's kind of a shame because most recently, in the past 10, 12 months or so, I've been under hospice care, but I've been at this nursing facility waiting for the hospice to kick in and such, and it's just been a nightmare at this place. You see, what limited help you get, and they pretty much have taken, everything I ever worked for. You know, um, I don't even have a penny in my bank account because of them. They take this nursing home, takes all your SSDI money, anything is, they charge what they want to charge, based on how much money you're, uh, you're making and such, and, like I was putting in, $3,500 a month when their base is only $600 a month, so, but that's kind of what's gotten my, things charged up is I'm sitting here dying and I was told not to worry about it, not to worry that you got cancer, things are going to be here, people are going to help, from all these hospice people to, nursing establishments, and I haven't seen one iota of getting help or not having to worry. It's like I've been having to worry, ever since I got day one. There's been nobody there for me, and it's hard when how long roughly you're gonna, here you have this, not specific, but about a roundabout way of how long you have left. I have, like I was saying, I have 13 to 15 months. That's what they tell you. And, that's scary as shit when you sit down and think about it. And then there's nobody there to help you along the way. It's just like, well, you got it, and take all these medications, and feel better. They want you so doped up. That's the thing too. They put me on this one drug thank God I had somebody come to my rescue and was like, get off of that now. And it's called Seroquel. And it turns you into their zombies where you're pretty much laying in bed. You can't make any decisions for yourself. And they take everything from you. Like I said, Matt, it's just been ripping me, you know?
So
And
you
the
mentioned,
establishments are, go ahead.
yeah, no, you mentioned they're draining the Social Security disability insurance out as well. How many people are in the home?
The one I'm at have it carries up to 50. Right now, there's 40 in there, and the majority of them are all on SSDI. Um, a lot of them are senior citizens who can't even make decisions on their own, and you don't see any of their family members there visiting. Nothing, you know. They're just put in there, and they're little meat markets for the some sort of weird government thing, and there's so much money involved in it. There's nothing to do with proper health care and giving them peace of mind and all that. There's not. All they want is money, money, money. They today I was told by the social workers there. He's like, you don't have to worry about things, Alan. You're worth more than your weight in gold. That's what he told me when I asked him for an invoice on all my health care. I did not receive that invoice when he could have went in and just pushed the freaking button and printed it off for me. All he told me is he's like, you're worth more than your weight in gold. What the F is that? When you want your invoice, your records and all that. That's what you get met with,
And how long have you
you
been there
know?
at this place now?
I've been here about almost 9 months to the day. I've been there, and I was in another place, and they got shut down thanks to me. I contacted the state, and they're like, "Well, you want to do a little bit of looking around for us and all that." And so next thing I know, they had the state in there doing an investigation, and they shut them down. For there's people doing drugs in there, using fentanyl. And this place I'm staying at, there's people using fentanyl and meth and such. And there's a lot of drug use in these facilities, and they don't care. Do they call the police? No. You know, there's a care facility just 2 weeks ago that one of the workers, one of the nurses works over at also this place and another place. That place, a couple of the nurses found 2 pounds of meth in a room. Yeah, you'd think they'd call the police. Hell no. They didn't call the police one bit because they don't want that put on record because of funding and stuff. That could hurt their funding from the government.
That's
You
crazy.
know,
That's crazy.
it's really crazy.
You're in Oregon?
Yeah, in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, Multnomah County, and there's so many of these places just right here in Multnomah County. There's hundreds of these places. You know, and they're all pretty much anybody can get a house and fix it up, and now all of a sudden you can take a small class, and all of a sudden you can become an in-home health provider, and hospice comes in and all that, and just per person to get them in, like the I forget the word I'm trying to search for. I'm sorry. Like you get thrown into like administration type stuff and all that. They charge $3,500 just to get you through the front door to fill out all this paperwork. That's how much they get from the state. And then they usually charge about anywhere for these private homes anywhere from 3,500 on up to $20,000. They're charging the state and Medicaid and stuff, you know. And the state and Medicaid are just like, okay, and they sign off on it, you know. All we are is a freaking number, a money number to them. That's what I feel like. They don't give a shit about me. They want my money, you know? And right now I don't have any money, but my bill goes up every month. So that means that when I die, my next of kin gets that bill,
That's
regardless if I owe $1 million. You know, my next of kin will get that bill.
that's
You know?
yeah, I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
That's insane. What's
It's,
your
it's,
what's your day to day look like, man? Like what, every day. And you mentioned you had to get surgery yesterday or have some.
Yeah, I had some issues going on yesterday with my varicose veins, which are they come down through your sternum and all that. And there's these little microscopic veins that will start bleeding, and so they have to go in there with these little tiny rubber bands and tie them all off so they stop bleeding. It's no fun. It hurts. I've had it done a couple different times now, and it's just stopped like any kind of internal bleeding from happening. Um, I had to be life flighted at one point in time from my condo out in West Lynn, which I don't own anymore. They took that shit away. But anyways, because I lost so much blood, I was like hemorrhaging blood, you know, and yeah. So day to days, I wake up each day and lay there, and I hope, I talk to myself, kind of, praying that I'll get to go out and see my friends, finish this with you, and that I don't have one of these lymph nodes get into one of my internal organs. Because if they do get into your internal organs, then you're pretty much gone within a few weeks' time. You know? And so I think about that, and you know, and you can actually throughout your day too, you can feel the lymph nodes trying to eat away at you. You know, I don't really eat. The food here is unedible for one, but there's nothing here that I can. They don't supply me with a proper diet. Which I need. My whole team, my oncology team says this, my GI team says this, all who are top-notch people from Providence Cancer Center, here in Portland. And, and then I just, throughout the day, I just, hope that I get stuff going on enough to where I can, hopefully come out and see everybody that I want to see, That's all I've been trying. Each day I go over my bucket list. And no, I don't want a trip to Disneyland. I don't want to go to Thailand. I don't want to do this or that. I simply want to be able to go see my friends and stuff on the East Coast and in the South. And I also want to spread the word about, with your help, spread the word about this failing, effed up situation that, we're all in. We're all in. We all have to die. Do you want to be stuck in a place like this? Do you want to have all the money you've worked for your whole life being taken by a place like this, you not left with anything, you not able to, maybe give your daughter or grandkids, enough landing pads so they're safe, they got some money, and can't do that. I can't do that now, I can't help like I was planning on it, helping my daughter and my granddaughter, Can't do that now. They took it all, you know?
Well,
And they took all my SSDI. It
so
isn't much, but
let's talk about this trip. What do you want to do with the GoFundMe?
I want to be able to get out to the East Coast like DC, you know, have enough to get out there, do DC, hook up with you. I want to go down through the Carolinas, see some of my close friends there, while doing what we're working on, and be able to afford to do that, and then see some more friends like in Alabama, Nashville. I just want to see some friends that mean a lot to me. Like Sean Skolnick, he goes by Langhorne Slim. I think you like his music and all that. And, I want to stop there in Carolina to see the Ada brothers, who's their family. Their dad is the one that got me into it all. If you remember me telling you that. And I just want to see family, or not, who I consider my family. And I don't have, that was my plan, my bucket list. And then this place just took everything from me. Everything, Matt. Man, I shouldn't be this fucking scared. Sorry for cursing, but I shouldn't be this scared. I shouldn't have to be. Nobody should have to be. You know?
Yeah, man, it's like
It's
that.
tough, bro. It's really tough when you've had it all your life. You worked your ass off. You've saved, and you didn't have to ask for nothing from anybody. And now it's like I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's like I'm 10 feet from being homeless. That's what this place does also, these places. So once they get all your money and they claim, oh, you're good to go now, you're healed, you know what they do? They get you 3 nights in a motel, and then that's it. You're homeless after that. Seriously, you're on the streets of Portland. Yep. Seriously, they'll amputate legs. I've seen this since I've been here. People get limbs amputated, and then if they don't have a home to go to, which are a lot of these people now, because they've lost their homes, and you become homeless. You become homeless. You know, plain and simple.
That's crazy, man.
And Portland already has a huge homeless population, where, that's another story, where's all this $70 million that Portland has for the homeless people that they've had for 5 or 6 years now? Nothing's gone on. The healthcare system's part of that help on putting people on the streets, you know? It's a racket, man. You know, and I got cancer, and now I'm caught up in that racket. You know,
So for the
it
people who
sucks.
are the people who are gonna watch this, what do you want to say to them?
I'd want to say, just watch your backs. Don't trust, don't trust the healthcare system as much as you would like to. Because, watch your banks, watch the money that you've earned in your life, you know. I hope, so that you could find in your hearts to help me, so I can go do my bucket list before I die next year. Is it next year? Something like that. I just don't want to be, I don't want to die this way, you know? I don't want to die not seeing the people that matter the most, you know?
Yeah, man.
It's hard to formulate words sometimes, And I'm a writer, I write music.
Are you able to write in there?
I just ask anybody to help those that you love. Don't leave them abandoned if they get sick or if your friends get sick or that. Don't let them be abandoned, because it really hurts when you don't have anything out there. Everybody stop calling you and everybody stop visiting and then you don't have nothing. I feel like I don't have nothing. I appreciate you for reaching out like you did. That's really humbling of you, and I appreciate your help, Matthew. You know,
Yeah, man. I'm
because like I said, I'm heading towards being homeless. With stage 4 cancer. Hospice was like, well, if we can't find you a place, we'll find you on the street. You know?
Yeah, so what's
It's
the
like you try not to think about taking your life early. That's part of my day, you know? It's like, well, fuck, I'm dying anyways. There's nothing here to fucking, there's nothing here anymore, Nobody wants to hang out or do things or help out, or it's just like, okay, nice knowing you, you know?
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's how my days go. Pretty much the same every day, you know.
Yeah,
And everybody I know this year, their days are about the same too. You're sitting there wondering, wondering if the manager of the facility is going to bitch you out for doing this or that. It's like, you know,
how close
yeah.
are you to being out on the streets?
Uh, Probably about 3 or 4 months, you know. It hurts to ask, for help and all that because. Not me. It's like, no, I'm still working on, you know, I'm hoping the Cancer Society can help, but their funding is so tight right now, because it's like I said, it's just not me. There's thousands upon thousands, if not millions, of people here, with cancer. It's not even think, worldwide, you know. it's, and all the other illnesses that, you get sick, you get overlooked and bypassed, and, you give up. I wasn't going to allow myself to be homeless on the streets, so I was going to get a tent, and I already got a really good mountaineering backpack and some gear. And then I was just gonna hit like the Pacific Crest Trail or something and just go until I die up in the mountains and have like a mountain lion come by and eat me and poop me out, have another animal eat me and poop me out. I kind of go back to the soil. So, I mean, hold on a second. Hold on, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
I want you to be behind our pills. Oh, gotcha. It's a lot of Spanish. Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry to take medicine. Time. Okay, where were we?
What was that?
Yeah, so going up into the mountains, just disappearing. It's like, I went surfing a few weeks ago. Surfed really well for like 4 hours. Nothing was bugging me. But I did get eaten by a shark, which sucked. I went to the sharkiest area to go surfing and, didn't get eaten by a shark, so I can't go that way. You know? It's just hard having, dealing with this shit. So yeah, I would like to do a fundraiser to just have enough to see my friends for you and I to make a difference. Pay for fuel and all that. And, fuel tickets if need be, you know, a rental kind of situation, like one of those camper vans to just lease for, a few weeks. I don't know, just something so I can get to go see all of you guys, before I come back here. And the overall plan is I want to find somebody that's really close to me and that's willing to do it, but I want to do the a right to life. We have that here in Oregon where you take a few pills and you say night night, you know? And I don't want cancer to take me down. Like I said, I can't die in a place like this. I can't, you know. And I get told constantly by the administration here and all, they use it, they're like, you don't belong here. These aren't your type of people. I'm like, I know, but they're not. But yeah, that's pretty much. I'm on a lot of medications. I take like 27 medications per day. Uh, you know, everything from pain management to anxiety management. Um, and then like I take stuff for my liver because my liver's failing me. And then, I take pills for this, pills for that. Oh, I have my ostomy bag now. I forgot about that. They had to do a surgery where they remove like 3 inches, 2 or 3 inches of my small intestine, you know. So and then tie it off and stuff. So I wear an ostomy bag now, which isn't fun, you know, and So yeah, I mean, like I said, pretty much that's the daily dose of my life. You know, it's like I did get to play back on my around my birthday. Sean was on tour. That's Leghorn Slim, and he was coming through Portland. Got a hold of me, and I actually did a sold out show at Wonder Ballroom, which is like 1,000 people. And I actually got up on stage and played the show with him. So we did a lot of duets together and stuff. And he kind of did this thing there where he had the crowd pass a hat, you know, and which was cool. That kind of gave me some funds for making it through a few months, you know, which was
When was
very
that?
kind of.
Do you have video footage of that?
Yeah, I think I do. I got a couple videos of it, I think, and then I also located them. My friend Molly, she took them all. So and then I have some like a bunch of still shots and all that. So yeah, I got that. So I'll have to shoot those to you, you know,
For sure, for sure.
definitely.
And there's only
Yeah.
a few minutes left on this recording before they shut off in
Okay,
20
yeah.
minutes. But so you want to get to the road. You want to die on your feet and
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
on moving and with the musicians and friends, from all your experience working on the road with music.
definitely.
So
Definitely so. And friends also make a good, something good to come out of it. Like we've been talking about, this failing healthcare system, and, you know, I mean, we all know that we're getting jacked around by the healthcare system. We all know that. If you got a half a brain, you know we're getting jacked around. You know? So, it's just a rough game, Matt.
yeah,
And I hate to be stuck in it, but it is what it is, right?
well, it's important to
You
shine a
know?
light on all the people being housed in these homes and just how it's exploitative it is.
Yeah, yeah. It's very exploitative, you know? And people are making serious money off of it
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and not caring. They don't care. Okay, give us another body, you know? Because they get money from that too,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
They get monies from bodies,
For
you
sure.
know? And all the bills that come with it, your family's gonna get. Yeah.
So
So
in closing, can you just look into the camera and say your name and this is your GoFundMe for the ultimate road trip?
yeah, my name is Alan Schoaf. I'm doing a GoFundMe for open road trip to deal with um, the healthcare system, but mainly to see all my friends that have really sucked their necks out for me. In life, and the friends I've made, like Matthew here, and I just want to say I love them all, and I just want a chance to see them once more before I die, because I'm scared. I am. I didn't think I would be, but yeah, it's getting to me
Well,
bad.
yeah, man. Keep
You
writing,
know,
man. Keep writing too, if you can.
yeah. Just hold on to your loved ones and support everybody. Just support. You know, yeah. I hope they're, I don't know what to say, but that's what I got to say. You know, it's, you know, I'm just trying to see people that I love, and do something good before I die. You know, I still wouldn't lay around and be drugged all the time and not being able to do nothing and hating every step of it. Because I'm the judo, I like to do stuff. I like to get shit done, and it breaks my heart when I can't do that. It's like I started that whole food coalition, the Aid It Fans Food Coalition, that I started up, like at all the Ada Brother concerts, you bring cans of food for free posters that get the cans of food, they get donated to the local area food banks, maybe, mostly up in the Appalachians and all that, those areas and all that. But, it's like, just help people. I think that's a gracious thing to do is, you know, help people if you can. If you can't, that's okay too. Write a card, write a note, send a message, whatever, you know. So that's about all I have to say for now, guys. I know Evan has some plans that are very exciting. So hopefully we'll be able to jump in the boat together and do that. Get word out there. About some of this stuff we've talked about.